Hey, in today's video, the first part will be about moon phases, how they affect us, what it means to be born under one, and the second part will be about moon number, or better said, moon numbers. So let's begin. In ancient astrology, I believe especially in Egypt, the visible phases of the moon were deemed male, while invisible female, as the goddess remains out of sight in the underworld. But for 2 nights each lunation, the visible part, the male part, is compelled to retreat into darkness of the underworld to be restored to sight through the intervention of the goddess. What we know about the moon is that it is the closest heavenly body to us. It controls the rhythm of the sea, and in a way, it controls the flow of blood in the human body. Each night, a different amount of light is given off by the moon according to its changing relationship with the sun. The moon, within an approximate 28-day cycle, will pass through 8 phases, each phase lasting about 45 degrees or 3.5 days. And these phases will have different influences and characteristics. The phases can be and are usually described by using the analogy of the plant in many texts. So the first phase is the new moon, at which time no light is emanating from its surface. The seed is in the ground, preparing to sprout. It is implanted in the new beginning. In the early degrees of the crescent phase, the sprout is drawn up from the earth by first illumination of light. In later degrees of this phase, the plant goes through a strengthening process, preparing its energy against the elements of nature. In the first quarter, the plant has passed the initial stages of survival and now it is forming roots. Once firm, the plant is able to concentrate its energies in the growth of stems and leaves, with the small buds appearing by the beginning of the gibbous phase. Now, during this phase, the plant focus is on the reason for its existence. By ridding itself of anything unneeded, the pinnacle of its past is brought to the moment of its achievement by coming into bloom. The phase of the full moon is the completion. The work is done, and hands that have nurtured the plant can now move away and assist the efforts. As the full moon progresses through its degrees, the flower becomes the fruit. The disseminating phase is the harvest, and the plant now gives back to the earth and to those who brought it into being. In third quarter phase, the harvest is over. The abundance has been shared, and what is left is beginning to decompose. The cycle is coming to an end. During the balsamic phase, the seed pod is buried underground. This is the time of transition. The light of the moon is now very dim, and by the end of this phase, it will disappear in darkness. Being born under the new moon means one possesses a quality of spontaneity, so planning ahead may not always be met with success. Life is a grand adventure with limitless possibilities. So these people live in the moment, not thinking much about the past. They have come to learn to respond instinctually and to act on intuition. Usually, these individuals are able to navigate without maps, arriving at their destination with still some time to spare. Often they can be criticized for being too self involved, but there is a need in them to learn about who they are and how to project themselves into the world. According to ancient texts, the moon is weakest for the bodily forces at the time of the new moon, and when the moon is in Scorpio or in Capricorn, especially for women. For those born under the crescent moon, the key word is struggle, as one usually has to fight with the ghosts of past which were in the effect before the new cycle began. These individuals are often emotionally tied to the past, and they may be drawn to habitual behaviors, wanting to stay within their comfort zones as it gives them a sense of security. In some instances, these people may fall under the influence of those who want to keep them the way they are, not being supportive of their growth. It may be difficult for them to leave their home until well into adulthood. For crescent moon types, it is imperative that they establish their vital energy in independence. The first step may be the hardest, but once taken, new opportunities will appear. The main challenge is to take those opportunities and act on them. The first quarter moon can be referred to as disarray or crisis in action. The challenge is to manage the energy which is released by disorder and then to restructure it into its new form. Individuals born under this moon phase are able to rise to the occasion of any emergency. They're able to make quick decisions and act on them. These people are pioneers, they are the hero and heroine. What should be avoided is unconsciously creating chaos in their lives, as these people can do it just for the fun of it. And the wilder it gets, they seem to function better. However, it is likely they will create conflict in lives of those who are deep rooted in status quo. Some of the professions these individuals may be good at are emergency medical service drivers or working in emergency rooms. Born during the gibbous phase makes one a perfectionist, or at least one may have an innate desire for perfection. These individuals have sharp analytical minds, having a need to understand, looking at a subject from all angles, experiencing a sense of joy when delving into the core of the matter. They can be anxious in anticipation of the coming revelation. These people will not be happy with just the answers. They want to know how and why the answer came about. Gibbous moon individuals may make good apprentices, as their goal is to learn as much as they can and become as good as they can get. The full moon brings about the culmination of all the hard work that came before it. This is a time when all that was instinctual becomes deliberate action, and all that was felt is now visible. Individuals born under this phase are idealists, and they may spend a lot of time searching for a belief system they can relate to. Usually, relationships are important to these people, but they need to be fully aware of the effects their words and actions have on others, as it may be difficult for them to find the right relationship in this material world, so they may turn to religion or an ideal cause. In search for the right relationship, one should proceed with clear mind and coherency, and not get caught up in sheer desire. The second phase of conscious operation is the disseminating phase of the moon or waning gibbous, and that which came into completion during the full moon is ready to be distributed now. These people are natural communicators. They share information acquired from their own experience. They're teachers and philosophers. And if they do not have some message to share, they may become disheartened and disappointed. Now, the lesson here is to realize that they're not responsible as to whether the message is received or not. It is not the role of everyone else to act on what they say, but in a way, it is the role of an individual born under this phase to say it. These people make good publicists and reporters as long as they believe and see the truth in what they're saying. For third or last quarter moon phase, key word is reorientation, and it can be the hardest one to identify as many of its characteristics are hidden. In this phase, all systems and values become useless, and for these people it may be hard to relate to life in the here and now. They often appear to be living in a world of their own, when in fact they may be going through a process of inner reorientation, presenting to the world an acceptable face as they're quietly developing on the inside. Once they again emerge, the butterfly is quite different than the caterpillar it had been, and it comes as a surprise to those who thought they knew them. These individuals may need more time and space to find themselves, and if pressured to conform, they might revolt, causing those around them regarding them as rebellious or uncooperative. Even as very young people, they require a lot of alone time and much more rest as they process much in their sleep. The balsamic phase or waning crescent is the last phase of the moon cycle. This is the bridge between the past and the future, a time of adjustment from one cycle to another. For these people, this lifetime is a karmic one. There is a pattern of intense short-term relationships with people from the past or people from other lifetimes, if you wish to look at it in that way. And these karmic ties are in need of resolution before continuing on into a new cycle. Some of these people have very pronounced psychic abilities. They're visionaries, seeing years ahead of their time. They may also be loners. Balsamic moon individuals are gurus, able to take true meaning of a situation, refine it into its wisdom essence, and then plant it into the awareness of others. So in a way, one of their jobs is the transmission of essential knowledge, which will sprout during the next level lunation cycle, which is again, new moon. During the new and full moon, fits of nervousness are more prominent or are more likely to occur, and individuals who are naturally easily disturbed or nervous should avoid sleeping under the moonlight. The exact time of the full moon was considered to be very unfortunate to go under a surgical procedure. White is the symbol of the full moon, which is also the symbol of initiation. The first quarter exerts a hot and dry influence, and it is connected with the revitalization of the organic development. And third quarter is cold and moist, and it is connected with the lymphatic system. This quarter is also typical of reaping of the harvest and the application of power already generated. Sleep is more quiet and peaceful during this phase. When the moon is decreasing in light, the vitality is usually less, and it is very easy to lose a kilo or 2 pounds of physical weight only to regain it again during the increase of the moon. Now let's move on to the numbers of the moon, which are in astrology number 2 and in tarot number 18. There are other numbers that were at some point in time associated with the moon, like number 4, number 7, and number 15, but I will not talk about these today. So let's begin with the number 2. This number is the symbol of confrontation, conflict, and recoil, and denotes either a balance achieved or hidden threat. In antiquity, it was the attribute of the mother, denoting the female principle, and it also may be the seed either of creative evolution or of fatal involution. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa gave a description of number 2, saying it is the number of man who is called another, and it is the number of lesser world. 2 is the number of intimacy and of evil, as in the story of Genesis, the formula "it was good" is lacking on the second day. For this reason, it was believed that fearful goblins and mischievous spirits that molest travelers are under the reign of number 2. In Scandinavian languages, the second is said andra, which fits well with Agrippa's formulation, which places mortals as another against the greater force. Number 2 symbolizes duality, the basis of endeavor, struggle, movement, and progress. 2 gives expression to a hostility which from being hidden becomes manifest, rivalry and mutual feelings either of love or of hate, of opposition which may be sterile and negative as well as complementary and productive. Number 2 controls the lower part of the body according to ancient texts, and it is vibrating in light yellow color. As 2 bears the message of the maternal spirit, it indicates strength of mother love, and if prominent, it can induce interest in agriculture, horticulture, or in some other pursuit in which one might have an opportunity to assist and foster the efforts of nature. Now, people under strong influence of this number usually have aversion to long journeys, and if travel is necessary, they are eager to return. In material things, number 2 is not very strong, and greatest achievements are frequently postponed after one reaches the age of 40. 2 is loyal to friends and sympathetic, but strongly fixed in opinions, and what these opinions may be depends mostly upon the harmony of vibrations. And even though this number is not very strong when it comes to material things, these individuals are materialistic, they're secretive, self observing, and it may be generally hard to detect their true feelings and sentiments. Even when in harmony, it is not uncommon to find that 2 possesses a melancholy turn of mind. If out of harmony, a secretive nature exhibits itself in selfishness, untruthfulness, and dishonesty. The best quality of this number is that people born under it are the most likable people. They're cordial with everyone and have a pleasant aura. 2s should avoid dark colors, and lucky days are Monday, Friday, and Sunday. Natural pearl, moonstone, jade, or cat's eye are considered to be good luck crystals. Number 18 is the tarot major arcanum of the moon, and according to different commentators, it expresses spiritual pollution by the material, depression, loneliness, and disease, bigotry, treachery, false security, deceptive appearances, misdirection, worthless promises, the laborious acquisition of the truth and learning by painful experience, illusions, deceptions, and traps. Now, this card complements the tarot card of the lovers, and like that card, in astrology corresponds to the 6th house. Now, let's examine one of the tarot moon card pictures interpretations a little bit deeper. This one has 3 distinct levels. In the uppermost, on the full blue face of the moon, a human face is outlined in crescent, and from it radiate 29 beams, 7 blue, 7 white, and 15 smaller red beams. Between heaven and earth, there are 8 blue, 6 red, and 5 yellow droplets. On the uneven foreground, there are 2 small plants, each with 3 leaves, while in the background, to right and left, rise 2 towers with the corners cut off, one of which seems to be open to the sky, and the other one is roofed. In the middle, there are 2 flesh-colored dogs, or it could be a dog and a wolf, face to face, with jaws open, apparently howling, and one of them may have even caught one of the blue droplets in its mouth. On the 3rd level, the lowest, there is a back view of a big blue crayfish moving across the middle of a blue pool of water, mottled with black. The 3 clear and separate levels are those of the stars, earth, and waters. The moon, which dominates the picture, only provides the reflected light, but draws to itself all that emanates from this world, whether it bears the colors of the spirit and of blood, of the soul and its hidden power, or the triumphant gold of material things. The 2 dogs, like Cerberus, are both guardians and conductors of souls. They howl at the moon, and it is somewhat of a reminder that in Greek mythology they were the creatures sacred to Artemis, the huntress and moon goddess powerful in heaven, and to Hecate, powerful in the underworld or hell. The 2 towers suggest or mark the boundaries between these 2 opposing worlds. Because of its ability to move backwards as well as forwards like the moon, the crayfish was also often associated with the moon. But the moon has always been regarded as a liar, and one should not rely upon what would appear to belong to the cosmic order, since this card bears a deeper meaning and one on the psychic level. Now, Plutarch remarked that the moon is the place where good men go after they die, and there they lead a life which may not be godlike, but is yet free from care until they die for a second time. All men must die twice. So the moon is the abode of the individuals between the time they leave their bodies and the second death, which is the prologue to their rebirth. Therefore, souls are in the shape of droplets, the different colors of which correspond maybe to the 3 degrees of spiritualization, and they rise up towards the moon. And if dogs try to frighten them, it is only to stop them from crossing the forbidden bounds into which the imagination might make them stray. The world of reflection and externals is not the real world. The crayfish is the only creature in the blue waters bathed by moonlight, and it serves as a reminder that the astrological sign Cancer is traditionally the home of the moon, and like the ancient Egyptian scarab, it consumes all that is ephemeral and takes part in moral regeneration. Numerology connects number 18 to generosity, tolerance, independence, straightforwardness, and building something of lasting benefit. It is under the rulership of Mars. This number is also seen as too hard, fanatic, choleric, and inclined to shut down the softer emotions like love, empathy, and sensuality. Tuesday is favorable day, and coral or ruby are some of the crystals considered to bring good luck. 18 may fear its own inner desires. Often people strongly influenced by this number fight a battle between the superego and the desires. However, this is an extremely hard-working number. Life may have forced number 18 individuals to be strong, as many with this number or with number 9 vibration have experienced some serious bullying in their youth. Now, this number is likely to cause repetition of work, making one to do things over and over until one meets the requirements of the ideal. Vibration of this number manifests itself in the matter of luck, having several pieces of good and bad fortune in rotation. These individuals can have artistic or literary abilities, and if those combine with talking ability, its tendencies will be towards the lecture platform. Attraction towards written or printed is clearly seen in this number. Out of harmony, 18 becomes forgetful, extremely nervous, followed by extreme conditions of life, and apparently insurmountable obstacles may arise to prevent the successful culmination of plans. Quote for today is by William Clement Stone. He was an American self-made businessman, philanthropist, and a self-help or New Thought self-help book author, a pioneer in the field of personal development, and he passed away at the age of 100. And one of his quotes I have chosen for today is this one: "Aim for the moon. If you miss, you may hit a star." Next week, I'll delve into a distinct topic inspired by the beauty of my own garden, particularly the roses I have cultivated and have now taken firm roots. About a year and a half ago, I planted several rose bushes that continue to bloom regularly. Although they have yet to reach their full potential, their continual blossoms serve as a source of daily inspiration to me. So I invite you to join me next week to discover the historical significance of the rose and its various associations with this lovely flower. Thanks for watching. Bye.